Hi guys, this topic has come up quite a bit on my feeds recently, and I feel that I've got sort of break type, write a few notes out and make a video. I normally do these unscripted, so to add some notes is a little bit off type for me. But anyway, what I want to talk today is about the pay per mile charges, specifically for plug-in hybrid cars, which was announced in the budget in November last year and is due to be implemented in April 2028, I believe. Now, the focus, most focus of that has been on like the 3 pence per mile for EVs. But I think the more despicable charge is the 1.5 pence per mile that old accounts, Rachel in accounts, wants to charge PHEV or plug-in hybrid owners, which kind of makes them the most heavily taxed, or will make them the most heavily taxed of all vehicle owners. Now, the current Labour government and the previous Conservative government have been banging on about net zero for years, and not without good reason. But you know, this is not the argument for that or not. However, the policies here are completely at odds with net zero, completely at odds. Now, to simply put it, how this is going to affect cars and how cars will be taxed is your standard ordinary car is going to be subject to VED, vehicle excise duty, and duty and VAT on petrol or diesel. Now, a standard hybrid car will actually be subject to the same because they self-charge, so there's no VAT on the electricity they use or anything like that. The EVs, they're going to be charged VED, of course, or they are now anyway. They weren't, but they are now, along with VAT on electricity usage, or the electricity they put in the car, plus 3 pence per mile, or per mile driven. Now, plug-in hybrid owners are going to pay VED, and this is actually a plug-in hybrid. It was £200 this year. Then we pay duty and VAT on petrol. We then pay VAT on the electricity that we use to put in the car, and then it'll be 1.5 pence per mile after that. Now, tell me that the government really supports net zero, because it's really hammering those cars that are supposed to be cleaner and greener. But anyway, I digress. Now, let's look at plugins in more detail. You know, earlier PHEVs, earlier plug-in hybrids had a range of about 50 kilometers or 30 miles in old money, and that's in prime conditions. Okay, prime conditions. In reality, the range is much less. Unless you've got the shortest of daily commutes, you're going to be using fuel as well. One of my cars, in fact this car I'm in right now, is a plug-in hybrid, and I've owned this one for over 2 years, so I can kind of attest to how it is with real-world experience. But let's get back to that in a minute. The latest plug-ins now have a ranges of about 110 kilometers, about 70 miles. So it's over twice the range of the older ones, but they still have limitations. Now, what are those limitations? And I'll take you back to this car here. This car is in fact a 2017 Volkswagen Passat GTE Estate. Huge practical thing. And I bought this as a stopgap just over 2 years ago. Sold the Porsche Cayenne, got this as a stopgap. But you know, it's been so practical, I've still got it over 2 years later. But anyway, it's got a 9.9 kilowatt per hour battery, which gives it supposedly 30-mile range, and takes about 3 hours and 40 minutes up to 4 hours to fully charge. And that's using like a granny charger. You can put it on a wall charger, but it still takes about 3 hours to charge because it's limited to 3.4 kilowatts charging speed. So the recharging is really lethargic. no matter how you charge it. So it means it's not practical to charge every day. And the other thing is, I live in Milton Keynes, and my daily commute is about 32 kilometres, about 20 miles, and it's mostly on national speed limit roads. So we're doing like 60-70 mile an hour everywhere here, and that uses a lot of range very quickly, particularly when you throw in all the roundabouts that Milton Keynes is famous for. And I can't get around. I can't actually do that 20 miles on electric range alone. It's just gone. And when you actually throw in the other curveballs, like in the middle of winter, or even recently with the heat we've had with the aircon on, and I've got the aircon on right at the moment, running from the electric motor, it just kills the battery. So the best way to use this car is always put it in hybrid mode and switch to electric only if I'm in the middle of Milton Keynes, the city centre, or in the middle of other towns, So, around 90% of my mileage is by petrol, and that's literally by necessity. That is not because I don't want to use electric. It's a necessary thing to do. That's just the way it is. And I know many plug-in hybrid owners do not ever charge. So, we know these limitations. We can tell the government has done no real-world studies on this. They just saw pound signs. They stuck 2 fingers up to Ed Miliband and net zero and just saw people like us to fleece more money off of. But this isn't the end of it though. The government have said that they'll update the rates in 2029 to 2030 in line with the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, which is set around 3% at the moment. Shame that they haven't done that with salaries for the past 20 years, but that's another thing. So what a way to promote the use of fuel efficient cars by making them more expensive to own. Stupidity there, as we all know. Now the government itself is a clown show of contradictions, and Rachel from Accounts is wearing the biggest red nose. But remember, this won't just stop at EVs and plug-ins. As soon as the government's there tightening its belt again, it's probably going to go after petrol and diesel cars as well. Now look, that's today's rant. So drive safe everyone, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.